sing with me. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. The name of love. We come together. Come together. We come together. The name of love. And now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. The name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. The name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Yeah. So let's take a look at the person next to you.
You're looking great, kid.
Say namaste and I bow to you. Feel the love and the unity.
Feel the love and the unity.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. The name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. The name of love.
That's vibrato. That's as good as it gets. All right, so welcome everyone. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New You. You're 3 feet taller since the last time I saw you. Nice to see you, Lizette. So welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills, which is in the North San Fernando Valley. We are a place that welcomes all who practice their beliefs and faith and love, and we're delighted to have you with us here this morning. If it's your first time on our YouTube channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll get a little ding every time we're on live, which is on Sundays and Wednesday evenings. So join us, won't you? And please help me welcome our musical inspiration today, the wonderful Teresa James, and our newly minted youth and family minister, Reverend Nicole Robbins, our presider today. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath and release. And in that release, we're just allowing ourselves to settle into this moment, this eternal now moment, stepping away from the cares and concerns, the hustle and the bustle maybe to get here today, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And that fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nicole lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nicole lights a healing candle, I'd just like to remember all who have started their journey in recovery this year, and for you to please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
As we go to that place of perfect peace within our hearts, it's with a grateful knowing that there is one God, one light, one source, one love that I choose to call God. I know I am connected to this divine energy, this source, this perfection, as I know each and everyone here and those online and those watching this later are connected to this source. And I know and I declare that this service unfolds perfectly in divine right action for each and every one. We're open at the top, hearing words of wisdom from Reverend Mike, beautiful music from Teresa, and all is well. It's a beautiful Sunday, and I'm just so very grateful to be here with each and every one and those online, sharing these words, sharing this community, celebrating our church family. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just release this to the law. And we affirm this by saying, and so it is. Good morning, everyone. It's like Mother-Daughter Day today. There's mother-daughter, mother-daughter. I love it. How wonderful to see you all here today. And hello, good morning to all those online. Yesterday, I didn't get a court to teach, so I wandered over to the golf course. We have a little cafe there, and there was another coworker of mine. And he was having breakfast too, because he couldn't get a court. And we were sitting there talking, and he was saying he was going to do dry January. And this is a French man going to do dry January. He wasn't going to have any alcohol. And we got a challenging email from work, and he said 2 bottles later, there went his dry January. I don't know if that's ever happened with you, where you make a decision. It's now the second week in January, and all our intentions and resolutions sometimes seem to have just evaporated by week number 2. But there's something brilliant about our teaching, because we can decide right now, this very moment, to change our thought pattern, to change a habit. We're not stuck in what we decided on January 1st or December 31st, or if we blew it all up on January 2nd. Because, everyone take a deep breath with me and breathe out. I can change the thought pattern. Ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. I can change an eating habit. Breathe in. Breathe out. I can change an exercise goal. Right here and right now. Every minute, every second, every breath, we can make a new decision. So if we made that resolution at the beginning of the year to make it a dry January, and we just happen to have that bottle of wine and have a glass or two or three, or maybe just the bottle's empty, I don't know anything about that, we can change that right here and right now. We can decide to make different choices, and we can start anew. Okay, so maybe I ate the pint of ice cream, but now I can go and start anew. A lot of people I've noticed where, well, you know what? I've had the 2 donuts, 3 cups of Frappuccino for breakfast, and that means for lunch I can go get that double cheeseburger with extra fries. And then you know what? I had the donuts and the cheeseburger for lunch. That means I can go get the big plate of pasta and eat it all, because you know what? It just doesn't matter. Every time we pick up our fork, we can make a new decision. As that famous mystic said, with every breath you take, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Right? That would be Sting. But I like to think with every breath I take, with every step I take, I am walking with you. So we have this beautiful teaching at our disposal where we don't have to be stuck in patterns. But here's the fun part. We need to make the decision, and we need to make the changes. So next time that we grab that big thing of ice cream and you think the day is done, or maybe a few too many glasses, or we didn't go to the gym today, next breath, we can make a new decision, because our thoughts are things. We can create and manifest for us a wonderful and happy 2023. What happened in the past does not define our future. That's what I love about our practices and our principles here at this wonderful center. So I'm wishing for all of you, take a breath, make a new decision. Nothing is ever set in stone. It's up to us. For that, I say namaste. Thank you for letting me share.
Watch the news, read the paper. Seems like this whole world's gone mad. Listen to the lies and gossip. It's just enough to drive you mad. Little things can change the world. A smile can go a long, long way. We just got to seize the moment and change today. 'Cause there ain't no difference in each other. One light shines on every color. We're just flesh and blood, living in a spirit world. Watching all the boys and girls, we can learn a lot from children. It's a better world they're building day by day. And I have heard the longest journey begins with just a single stride. We can get to where we're going side by side. And there ain't no difference in each other. One light shines on every color. We're just flesh and blood, living in a spirit world. Living in the spirit. And we'll never get cross that river, lest we learn to live together. So let's all join hands and try living in the spirit world. Living in the spirit. Let's we learn to live together. Yeah, let's all join hands and try living in the spirit world. Living in the spirit. Oh, we're just living in a spirit world.
Thank you, Teresa. That was wonderful. Let's give her some more love.
Oh, thank you.
We're all friends here today, but I want to say yay, Lizette's here. We haven't seen you in so long with the daughter. Yay. So let's see, announcements. Practitioners. We have so many practitioners here. So raise your hand. We have the Revs, and we have practitioners, everyone. We're all here to pray for you. So if you need some prayer support or even going from glory to greater glory, please reach out to one of us. And those online, we have our website, cslgh.org, has some practitioners for you there. Today's Zoom fellowship meeting at 11:45 will be hosted by Agneta Byland. Law of Attraction Study Group is 1 p.m. on Zoom. It's now facilitated by Emily. You can email Emily at joyvibrations@gmail. Karma Yoga, how exciting. Reverend Jeannie Hoffman is organizing this next Thursday, 9 to 1, here at the center. We'll be coming here in silence to clean our beautiful home. So if you have some cleaning supplies, bring them with you. You can email Rev Jeannie Hoffman at gmail.com for information and to register. Reverend Mike has his foundations class, was started last Tuesday at 6:30 to 8:30. It's in person and online. It's a great opportunity to really go back and start at the beginning with our practices and principles. So I highly recommend, if you haven't taken it in a while, or even if you've never taken it, please join Reverend Mike in his class. On January 23rd, I will be starting a 4-week workshop in person, and if we get enough Zoom people, I will do also a hybrid. Be my best me in 2023. What do we want to manifest in 2023? Kind of like my talk today. What are we going to how are we going to bring forward our best selves in 2023? And even more exciting, February 5th, the first and third Sundays of each month, we're starting our junior church again. So, kids, if you have families with kids, please come join us. You can email us here at the center for more information, and have your friends bring their friends, because when kids come together with their friends, they really love to stay. So that's what I'm asking all of you. So reach out to all the families you know with kids. If you're a teacher, we're looking for teachers as well who are steeped in our practices and principles. So it's really exciting to finally get our junior church back. It's been a long time with this thing that we've been dealing, this experience that we've had with COVID and such. So please share with everyone you know. I would love you all now to stand and join me as we do our Declaration of Principles. We believe one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life immortality of the individual soul, forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the giveness of life to all.
All right, y'all join me singing here. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Let's sing it one more time. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Daniel Nahmod, for that nice little song to open us up a bit here. And nice to have you all here with us. We had our burning bowl last week. And so I actually have some, we did a visioning together, and then we came to the bowl and released it. So for those of you who couldn't make it in last week, there's stuff in the back there, and so you can take that home and do it at home if you like. And yeah, so our class is in the Foundations class is in its second week. It is online and on Zoom. So if you would like to join, it's on the regular Zoom channel for the center. So we start at 6:30 on Tuesday. Just drop me a line because you got some reading to do. So because you got to do 2 chapters for the first week, you got to get like caught up with a bunch of stuff, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. But and I'm very excited to be teaching this class and have it tied into the first 4 Roman numeral chapters of the Signs of Mind textbook. So this is what my well-traveled version looks like. And so you probably have one at home. You may be using it as a doorstop these days. But if you're not, I would encourage you, if you are, I would encourage you to actually pick it up and look through it. We're going to be focusing in this month through the first, 100 pages or so. And which really is the program. Actually, it's less than that. It's the first 40 pages. Simple, right? And so it contains all you need to know to get started using this thing we call spirit. And so in the first Roman numeral chapter entitled The Thing Itself, I went through it one time and I picked out the many names for God. And so that's what I think of this chapter as, because it invites us to go on an adventure, a spiritual adventure, where the first thing that we want to play around with is the idea that this world of form is backed by a spiritual consciousness, that in fact all of it is that we are spiritual creatures having this human experience. And so in this way, we are connected to this immutable power and presence that kind of evades description, that probably our poets do the best job of expressing what it is. And yet at the same time, we've all had an experience of knowing that in some crazy way, in the human experience, we are connected. And maybe, and that we are all expressing acts of faith within this human life. Now, it could be in basic ways. Let's say when we're in high school, taking an art class or going out for track or tennis, right? Where we're like, well, I don't know if I can, but we step into it anyway, make a leap of faith, right? Or more importantly, it might be when we exchange vows of fidelity to our beloved. That is an act of faith in love, right? That there's a connection, that there is this force between us that is bringing us together to step into a life that doesn't look like it maybe if you have more secular idea of what life is, but it is a leap of faith to dedicate and to support and to see and to make witness to your beloved that we're going to strike out and do this thing together. Now, for some of us, it might take us a couple tries. But the intention is still there. In fact, if you do it a second time, you're really stepping out in faith, aren't you? Right? It's also recognizing that there's a lot of stuff that's downloaded into us that gets in the way of our most effective way of expressing life, the science of mind. So we have stuff that's been downloaded into us that has not been reasoned in there. Stuff from our religion of origin, from stuff from our parents, of course, stuff from the people we come up with, right? So if we are hanging out with mean girls all the time, they're telling us all kinds of stuff that probably is not true, 95% of it, right? And yet here we are, 40 years later, and we still have this nagging thing that it might be true. Because we can even know that it's not true, but it might be true. That's enough to keep us held bound. Or that it's original sin, that you fall short of the glory of the Most High. That God loves you, and you better believe or else. A consciousness of coercion versus a consciousness of freedom. This is what Holmes is proposing. A consciousness of freedom rather than coercion. And he says it right off the bat in the first page. To suppose the creative intelligence of the universe would create man in bondage and then leave him bound would be to dishonor the creative power which we call God. To suppose that God could make man as an individual without leaving him to discover himself would be to suppose impossibility. In other words, that sense of curiosity that you have, and maybe that's laid dormant for a while as an adult, because I've seen a lot of life. I've seen a lot of stuff, man, and I know what it's all about now. But really, what we want, even the carpenter said, "Be ye as children." We need that curiosity. We need to cultivate that, to foster it, to understand that this is the creative impulse of life, scratching from the inside, longing to express itself on the outside. The thing itself. So, Holmes, this is my take on all this, is that we are here to discover God then by discovering ourselves. And by discovering ourselves, we have a deeper relationship with the divine because we heal our old stuff, right? We heal our old stuff. And we don't inflict our stuff on other people, at least not consciously, right? So to have parents who grow up, who are committed to raising children, to know the greatness that is within them, and also to embrace the self-responsibility that goes with that, right? To know that a trained mind is far more powerful than an untrained mind, right? That an authentic heart that can be vulnerable is far more courageous than a go along to get along crowd. Because what happens is you grow up to be adults who go along to get along. And we've seen the effect of that, in a way, these last few years. Because the world is telling us that we're separate. It's us against them. It's dog eat dog. And that you're not going to get your way in the world unless you put up your dukes, grab the sword and the shield, and slay away. And some of us are very successful with that. And yet we get to the end of that and we go, wow, is this it? Right? And there's lots of bodies around us, but no one to share our life with, except somebody else who wants to slay away. Now, we haven't been created to be gladiators in life. We've been created to discover the creative impulse of life as our life and to allow that to come forward, knowing that the power that's propelling all of it is love itself. That's what we're here to do, right? We're here to be prodigals, sons and daughters of the Most High who come to themselves and realize, oh my God, I can think a new way. I can have a new thought. I don't have to live in this muck and mire of struggle and limitation and separation. And instead, I can step into my divine inheritance of abundance, right? Of love. But there's going to be some work to do. We can't just click our heels together and go, I just know it's true because I really want it. We're playing with the law of life. We're playing with a field of mind, a creative field of mind that gives us back, reflects back to us what we put into it. So that all that God is here is reflected back to us. Because we are it. Individualized. And, as Reverend Nicole said, regardless of what has happened to us in the past, regardless of let's say, unskilled parenting, or even some of the horrible things that can happen to someone less blessed in the way I was raised, things can happen. Now, that doesn't mean that my Irish father's raging stuff did not have a limiting effect on my life. You don't have no idea. That was an act of will to find the appropriate word just now. But the Spirit is not bound by precedent. That means that whatever's happened in the past is... There was a great mystic and teacher named Maureen Hoyt who said that it's for information only. And maybe you got that from someone else. I don't know. Yeah. The past is for information only. Can you feel the truth in that idea resonating? Right? And you don't have to be an old fart like me. It's true even as a younger person that the past is for information only. And so we can have, really what we are on is this, the possibility of a beautiful discovery of a life experience that has depth and breadth and creativity, right? An energy a creative energetic that allows the creative impulse of life to express itself through our life, even if it just makes us a more courageously loving person. That would be enough. Even if it makes us stretch ourselves to where we can get into, triangle pose and not pull anything, right? Even if it means that we read materials that we've been over 1,000 times, whether it's scriptural or whatever, and we get a new insight. That's enough for that day. Because day by day, as we go along, being open to the creative impulse of life, we're going to be 365 times more creative than we were last year. So we don't have to set the world on fire. We just need to set our heart on fire. Right? And that's by connecting with each other. So this spiritual thing is big. Infinite's a lot. Right? Infinite creativity is a lot of creativity. Right? Whether it's individualized within ourselves, those of us who have meditation practice, we know the infinite, the depth of the infinite, that there's always discovery, and then we know that the universe itself, infinite. And all is mind. So this is the first big concept, that all of it is a field of mind, that the way that this thing that we stick a label on called God, G-O-D, call it what you will, the way that it makes itself known in all places spontaneously as one, at one time, that contains all intelligence, that is the creator of all that is that it's all a field of mind that is bound by nothing except the law of its own being, which is also infinite. Right? That's some real metaphysical stuff there. Mind, the thing, spirit, causation is beyond and yet not beyond our grasp. Beyond in that it is so big, within that wherever we grasp at it, we are it to the extent that we can grasp it. So we don't arrive anywhere. We are on this spiral evolution of greater and greater awareness of the divine. And I'll tell you, we really know we're on to something when we start seeing it in others, particularly people we don't care for so much. And they don't need to be people you know personally. If you got a resentment for some characters out there in the world of form, to see the divine in that too. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm working on that one. Wherever we grasp at it, we are it to the extent that we grasp it. But since it is infinite, we can never encompass it. We shall never encompass God, and yet we shall always be in God and of God. And this is probably one of the first big caveats for me, because I remember being in my first Science of Mind class with Reverend Maureen and saying, you can't say that, that's blasphemy. There's only one guy who was of God, and they nailed him to a cross. She said, well, just stay with it. Stay with it. In fact, I want to make sure I say this, so I'm going to share this quote here. She said something like this: if we try to find something difficult to grasp, then we shall never grasp it, because we shall always think of it as being incomprehensible. The mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. This is the thing itself, and we should recognize its simplicity, which is an irony, since it takes this book to explain that simplicity. It's crazy, right? But why is that? Because we think of all the reasons why it's not so. So there are many names for God. Okay? Here's just some of them. Now, Big Sweetie is not in the textbook. I think that was Helen Street, right? So one of Maureen's teachers way back when. Big Sweetie. And then, what is your favorite? Because it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what you think, right? What allows you to connect to life on a deep level and to be more creative, to be more authentic, to allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to learn something new about yourself, about another person, even if it means shedding a few tears or even letting go of some old stuff. This teaching to me is not easy. The easier, softer way is just to proclaim that I'm saved and follow 10 rules. And just say, okay, yeah, you're right. I am a sinner. I am all of these things. Here's my money. Let's build that big-ass church. Or we can raise the bar and practice what Jesus actually said. And to own, it is done unto me as I believe. So what do I believe? Am I willing to believe something new? Am I willing to take my belief and create my most effective life? Not even an effective life. Am I willing to build a life that is happy, joyous, and free in all of the wildest ways that I can imagine? Am I willing to do that? Because if I'm willing to live that way and to give the glory to Spirit, to understand that all I'm doing is engaging with this creative field of mind and then allowing it, sometimes with my knees knocking, I do believe in spooks, but then we do it anyway. This is a powerful way to live. And all of the great mystics in any faith system you can imagine have known this to be so. They've recognized that a lot of the tripwires within our own experience of the human condition are distractions that keep us from realizing our full potential as an individualized expression of the Godhead, whatever we know that to be. So really, we are called to be the Christ in the Western parlance. We are called to be creators. We are called to step into exploring, what is it I want for my life? And what am I willing to train my mind to focus on to bring that forth? We come to learn that the Spirit operates as mind, that we are the individualized expression of this mind of Spirit, and as such, our mind reflects the same process in which the mind of Spirit acts. Spirit works for us by working through us. That the self-contemplation of the Spirit becomes the thing it thinks about, that the thing that we think about the most is what materializes. So the old joke within religious science is that if I'm a religious, claim to be a religious scientist, and know the good and the glory of the divine, is there enough evidence to convict me? What is the demonstration of my life? If it's struggle, right, we can shift that. But if it's been struggle for 3 or 4 years, you might want to look at that. What's my part in that? Right? And let's face it, there are systemic things. You know, discrimination for race, for gender identity, you know, all of these things, that's a real thing. But what are we going to do about it? Surrender to hate or step into love? Right? And to open our heart to allies who will support us in our greatest expression, because they're out there. This center is full of them. Making the self-contemplation of spirit, becoming the thing it thinks about, making things out of itself, bound only by the truth of its own being, which again is also infinite. That the great love of the universe must be one with the great law of its own being, and we approach love through the law. Now, what the heck does that even mean? Right? When you're brand new. Well, like all natural laws, it must be demonstrated to be legit. So electricity had always been available. It's been around since the Big Bang. Humans in our present form, Cro-Magnon man, if you will, Homo sapiens sapiens, has been around for about 40,000 years. We've had the same brain capacity and so forth to work things out. And yet we could not use electricity until we discovered it. And then even after we discovered it, we had to figure out how to utilize it. So if there is this one mind out there, then how do we prove it? Well, we prove it by using it, by utilizing it. First, through our connection with it, understanding that love is the propellant within the whole deal, a love that is so pure, that is cosmic, bound by nothing, that has a component within it that it can only say yes to itself, and that our mind is impressing itself within it and cannot be returned to us void. Now we're going to look at the question Ernest Holmes will post within these next 3 weeks. And so if this is so, then why are so many people unhealed, sick, and afraid? What about that? Right? So we're going to look at all the whatabouts over these next 3 weeks. I know I had them. I know you have them. And we can get, by sticking with it and not pitching the whole proposition, but instead allow ourselves to go deeper, that we can have a greater expression of life as our life. But Holmes recognizes this, and he says so we know that in prayer some are healed and others are not, but the answer is not that God has responded more to some and not others, but rather that some have responded more to God than others, that their prayer has responded by co-responding. Now, this is not to take that little thing there and then start flagellating yourself, right, because you haven't done it right, but rather to show compassion and love for yourself by simply starting again. The examples that Reverend Nicole made, right? That because we had a donut for breakfast doesn't mean we have to have something that is not in our best interest for lunch. And I don't know why you kept looking at me while you were saying all those things. She's been reading my mail, I think. All right, so let's just take a deep, conscious breath. That's what happens when I go out off my notes. You get the deluge. So let's think about the thing itself. What is it we know the Spirit to be? And I would even say this, that if there's a little bit of confusion in there, then you're on the right track. That is the right track. If it's certainty outside of the fact that God is, you're on the right track. So today, let's practice being the mystic in our own life. Even if we have to do it from a let's pretend kind of way. To see within everyone we meet today, everyone we think about, everyone we see on television or hear on the radio, that we see the face of the divine and do it in a conscious way. And just breathe into it. Let's breathe on that. Breathe into that and see if you feel different on the exhale. And then come back next week. You know, dust off your textbook. Take 10 minutes to read 10 pages. And come back next week and we'll check in with each other.
The things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. Mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the places of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my skin. I am not the member on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside. My soul inside is all light. Divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I
Very nice. Thank you. Teresa James, everyone. You can give her some love on the chat as well, because I know you go straight home and look up that stuff.
I do. Absolutely.
I don't think you've ever looked, have you?
No, but I
No,
will.
she's never. But do it anyway, because she might do it today.
I might do it.
As part of her church homework assignment. All right, so let's have Chloe bring up our offering basket. So many of you have been supporting the center for these last few years through online giving, through the mail and so forth. So we thank you for that. If you've come prepared for a gift today in person, then as we will do 2 verses of our offering chant, and just come up as the basket is open and join us in singing with Teresa.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, through us. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So this basket represents the heart of the individual that knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. We are participating in the great law of life through the law of circulation, so that it also represents the heart of this spiritual community that accepts these gifts from whatever avenue from which they make their way to our center. We accept these gifts with deep love and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless, and not just our center, but anyone connected to it in any way, that we extend a blessing of peace, harmony, and prosperity within our local businesses and our friends in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is an emanation from the cosmic intelligence, the creative impulse of life itself, making itself known on this earth plane, and to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of power and grace that both propel us into our greatest expression of life and pull us into this new vision that we have unleashed for our life, set into motion by means of this new year. And that's a good thing. So let's know this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Let's give Teresa a little more love. So easy to do. Nice job today. Thank you. And I wanted to say, Circe is taking photographs of our practitioners, ministers, and board members, they're like $10 for a print and $20 for a digital print. But since there are moms and daughters here today, if you were to ask her if you could, I'm sure she'll get you on the list, and we'll square up on the money side of that later. Okay. So if you want to take advantage, because it's, as you can see, she's got a pretty pro setup there. So if you want to get a new headshot, or you want to get something together, then take advantage of the opportunity. All right. And Circe's probably going, "What are you doing? I got to be out here by 1:15. But that's okay. She'll find a way, because she's in the flow of life. Let's call Reverend Nicole up to pray us out. Peace and blessings. And we'll see you next week.
So very, very thankful for the words spoken here today, and I just adore when Reverend Dr. Mike free flows because it just really moves me. I'm grateful for the beautiful musical inspiration and each and every one here in my amazing church family. As we go forward this week, knowing that we are the thing itself and that our love propels us, and what is rightfully ours will not be denied. We just need to set our intentions knowing it is already ours. So we go about this week recognizing God in everything and everyone we meet, and we just know that it is good. We sleep soundly, we have a joyful week, and we return next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday here ready to rock and roll again. So with all this, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, and I just release it to the law. And together we say, and so it is.
Y'all join me. Stand in if you want to make a circle. We'll sing the peace song. With God as our power, with